can't hear me. There you go. Now you can hear me. How's everybody doing? Wow, today was quite the day. Quite the day. Anybody else have an interesting day today? I hope you guys are incredible today. Today is day 7 of our 7-day challenge, our 30-day challenge, excuse me, on growing our light. And today what we're going to focus on is learning how to deal and process heavy emotions. So whenever we are triggered with heavy emotions, how do we deal with them? How do we release them from the body? How do we process them properly so that we can move forward and not allowing that to store within the multidimensional body as memory, as this holographic memory blockage that creates a blockage in the runways of the meridian energy system, and also that block our ability to move forward in long term. So let's say hi to the beautiful folks that are coming into our chat right now. RR2, hello. Mary Bond, how are you? Beautiful. Oh wow, Mary Bond said she just woke up from having lessons with the Ascendant Masters and Guides. That's amazing, beautiful. It was quite a day for channeling, I have to say. I actually myself had a very interesting channeling earlier today regarding some information. And I'd love to get into some time to share that information with you soon. I will. But we will do it in intermittent and through this challenge this month. So I want to hear what you channeled, Mary Bon. What did you come up with? Go ahead and put that in the chat. Share it with us if you want to. We would love to hear what you have seen. And let's begin. So yesterday we went over the many different parts of what is necessary for us to grow our light. And one of the things that we really want to focus on is our daily interactions, the triggers that are occurring in our life. Those are the things that initiate in the body these chemical, energetic, and emotional responses. And when we are not fully mindful, fully aware of ourselves, we respond in ways that probably we don't want to. Either we regret it later, or we feel incredibly exhausted and tired. And both of them are just as bad because they are informed by the drainage of our life force energy that we have literally gave and just donated without being conscious of how it is affecting ourselves. So being mindful of your energy and how you express that energy on a daily basis is the key to growing your light. Without awareness of yourself and how you're responding, why you are responding the way you are responding, we become puppets to life. And again, we start going into those mechanical behaviors where we're just responding automatically without consciously becoming aware of what we're doing. Remember that every word that you speak, every expression, every emotion is information that we are injecting into the cycle of co-creation that we are participant in. And as individual organisms of consciousness, that plays a tremendous role in what we're experiencing collectively. And at this pivotal time historically, and as we're going through a major change and reset, and all these changes that are happening in the world around us, being aware of our contribution to what we're co-creating for the future, this is kind of like the test. This is the time of the test. So whatever you are thinking and feeling during these couple years, last year, this year, and moving forward into the future, literally will define what direction we take. This is the level that we're at right now, collectively. Because so much of the technology that is coming into the playing field now is vibrational. When we talk about vibrational frequency rising, when we talk about ourselves activating our genetic code, raising our vibration, we're not simply talking about just ourselves being happy and blissful all the time. We're literally talking about activating in ourselves the creator self that plays a huge role in its participation of an entire organism that is moving through the multiverse. We are participating in the co-creation of the multiverse. And it's important for us to have this kind of broader vision, because we oftentimes get lost in the minutia of everyday life, and even in the spiritual community, we get lost in these words and ideas and thoughts about what this ascension process is, what is this process of waking up, and sometimes it becomes discouraging and like a word that we hear over and over again that simply has no meaning. But it's important to let ourselves understand the bigger picture of why it's important to do this kind of work at this time. And it's because we are building what we're experiencing now and in the future. And if we would like to change how things are moving in the direction in which they're moving, our intention in our co-creation is incredibly important at this time. So one of the things that I want to talk to you is our holographic genetic code, which is expressed through our experiences. Not only do we help create the experiences that we're having, but the information that we are creating is what is encoded in that genetic code. So it's kind of like how epigenetics work. We are not married to the diseases, for example, that run in our lineage. If we make choices in our life that provide health, balance, well-being, vitality in our organism, emotionally, mentally, and physically, we will not manifest those diseases that run in the family. And this is scientifically proven, right? If we live a healthy lifestyle, and we don't follow the same footsteps as our grandparents, our parents, and so on and so forth, we won't continue those cycles of disease. And it's the same with emotions. It's the same with mental limitations. It's the same with all of these things that we are sharing in our collective. Our immediate collective is our family and our ancestral lineage. And from there is the gateway that connects us and interconnects the entire human race to one another as one giant family. And the family, the concept of family, is not just an idea. We are literally related to one another in our genetic code. Just 2,000 years, you and I, which some of you I've never even met before, have a relative in common. And so what that's telling us is that there is an origin point for our race here on Earth, and we keep cycling through patterns of beliefs over and over again. So this is important to understand, because if you understand the mechanics of creation, you understand how we are choosing, or even whether we are choosing. Most of us are not choosing. Most of us are expressing what is already encoded in those patterns, encoded in our holographic system, the holographic DNA, which informs the holographic muscle system, all the physical part of the body that expresses its actions, feelings, and emotions. And from the mind is holographically creating the experiences, because you become a vibrational resonance to the things that you attract into your life, that you interact with, people, places, and things. So that being said, the amount of power that you have as a human to begin to shift those experiences is incredible. And it begins and ends with you, full stop. There's nothing else outside of you that is interfering or involved in that co-creation. Even though we live in a dualistic expression in which there is parasitic consciousness that we are interacting with, we will never be a victim to parasitic consciousness if we understand our ability to become completely aware and govern this body, this organism. And if we understand the mechanics of creation, nothing will be able to parasitically behave or drain our life force energy and manipulate or control or weaponize the aspects of ourselves that we're unaware of. So this is the kind of playing field that we're at right now. It's something that is moving at a much higher level. The entire Earth is moving through the photonic belt, means that the vibrational frequency of all of its participants in this galaxy are moving at a higher vibrational frequency. the higher vibrational frequency that we're moving through in the trajectory of an infinity symbol, we are at the center point of that. Okay, there have been so many different generations that have led up to this moment. And you have chosen to incarnate in this generation in which you are now met with this pinnacle moment in evolution of mankind. We are departing from the physical sensory aspect of ourselves, and the opportunity is to upgrade and to activate the DNA into the holographic field and learn how to play in that holographic field, how to navigate that holographic field. That holographic field is the God state, the creator state, which we have the ability of mastering. So as we begin to tap in and activate our DNA, activate our abilities, the psychic abilities, telepathic abilities, all of those things are not fantasies. They are part of our human blueprint. And all of those things are demonstrated with children around the world that are training in that. We had the government that had created MK Ultra programs that have, utilized that, weaponized that for nefarious reasons, but activating the human to such a level that they become these incredibly powerful super machines. Okay, so we have that ability. Every single one of us has that ability. And our genetic code plays a role in the kind of the process of evolution that we're going to take. Our DNA, the information that's there, even our blood type plays a role in how we are experiencing our life, whether we remember past lives, whether we're more psychic or not. All of that is a product of our ancestral evolution since the inception of life on this planet. And so when we deal with these heavy, heavy ancestral emotions that keep rising up over and over again, feelings of helplessness, anger, the suppression of our voice, the violation of our boundaries, so many different things that keep becoming triggered within our space, especially right now. Because in order for this organism to move up to that higher vibrational level for co-creation, it has to transmute, it has to alchemize those heavy, lower emotions, those heavy wavelengths. It needs to alchemize them into a faster moving rate. That faster moving vibrational frequency is what activates your DNA. It's what grows your light body. It's what allows you to embody that superhuman that you need. Okay, and many parts of your physical body are participating in that activation. We are, in a sense, healing the body through this process. And through the healing of the body, we are speaking and connecting and enforcing the mind-body connection. So let's go back to the main topic today, which is why we went to take this detour about these heavy emotions that we come into. What we discover and what we've been noticing in the past couple sessions together is that those emotions are emotions that we've been feeling maybe all our life. They've just been coming up, triggered by different events, different people, places, and things that keep triggering this same kind of emotion. And so this emotion tells us something about our belief system, about ourselves, the way that we see ourselves, the way that we believe about ourselves. And all of that is informing in your co-creation. So if you wonder why you are stuck or you're lost or confused or, feeling unloved or lonely or disconnected, these emotions are the ones that inform that you are creating. So we need to change that. We need to change that because this is where we counter-create. The human has the ability of creation or counter-creation, becoming conscious or rejecting that consciousness, being conscious or being parasitic. Okay? So all of these little expressions are an example of how the design of this entire multiverse is in a fractal form. Self-similar patterns, the architecture of creation, the architecture of exchange and development of this expression of consciousness is manifested in these many different examples, yet all of them function in a similar way. And it's as above, so below. So in your universe that you are, we are battling that same kind of conscious interaction. And it's the same with all different species, different races. Okay, all of these different interdimensional beings, they are all as well battling that in many different ways. We have the hybridization program, we have our participation in some of these programs, and we have the participation here on Earth and how we are participating here. So the level of awareness that we want to be at, it has to be kind of whole. We have to look at the whole picture, not just one part. All of them play a role. And at this moment in time, in this process of ascension, is that awareness and acceptance of what is occurring without having to categorize, judge, simply observe and understand where we need to go from there, how to navigate that. The only way we're doing that is by not having heavy emotions that pull us in directions of illusion or deception. Because heavy emotions are informed by fear. These kinds of heavy, low vibration emotions, fears, anxiety, all the list of the heavy emotions, negative emotions, are all rooted in fear. Fear is the representation and the belief of separation. Something is unknown, so we don't want to deal with it. It's something far away from us. And while it's far away and separate from us and what we are and what we identify as, we somehow create the illusion of safety. But that safety becomes a complete shell made out of, crystal, that as soon as we are in more situations of unknown, we have cracks all over our sphere. And so little by little, we end up living in a reality of we believe that we are unsafe in all situations. Everything is unsafe. We don't know what's up, what's down. Discernment is out the window because we have not learned to trust in ourselves. We only trust what we see and we feel externally. And that level of codependency in the external is what causes counter-creation, suffering, loneliness, disconnect from source. So this is very key to changing those patterns of behavior. And in order to begin to change that, we have to handle those emotions that keep coming up. So in today's exercise, we're going to be looking at those pattern emotions. I want you to look at all the emotions that you have experienced over the past week in all these exercises and kind of begin to observe what is the pattern that you're kind of seeing there. And we're going to address that emotion. It's one of them. I know that you have already identified which one that might be. So I want you to tune in to that emotion, and that's the one that we're going to focus on, okay? And the idea in healing, as I explained earlier this week, how do we change? How do we heal from those emotions? All of these experiences become fragmentation, okay? Any time in your life that you feel this angry emotion or fear emotion arise, the body doesn't know how to respond. I'm talking about the organism, okay? Body, mind, and soul. And so in that moment of feeling helpless, we begin to have fragmentation occur. Fragmentation means literally that an aspect of yourself is suspended and left in that experience, in that moment. This is not a linear moment. It is a spherical moment. So now it becomes a point here in your energetic field. And this point becomes a reference that you now reference. Imagine that if you have so many little disconnected experiences, but all ranging in these emotions, you have lots of points there, and it begins to get heavy and solid in that space energetically. And this becomes the blockage in your life, because that is your main reference point. You can't move forward, you can't move past it, you can't see beyond this program, this idea. So how do you heal that? You address all of those little reference points and the fragments of yourselves in those points, and you broaden their perspective. From that view that it had in that moment of survival, of fear, of not knowing what to do, of disconnect, of anger, of fear, all those things, you broaden its perspective so that it begins to see the bigger picture of that experience. You inform it what it needed to know, so that now it knows that it's not alone, it's not lost, it's not disconnected. You give it truth. you introduce it to truth, and truth is the whole, not just some part of the truth, because the truth is never just our perspective. The truth is all perspectives included. This is unity consciousness. That's what it means to have unity consciousness, to constantly move from my and other view to me and all view. Right? So that's what we do. And when we do that, what happens is that now this little energy point dissolves. It dissolves. And you begin to open up. The runways of energy in your energetic field open up and heal energetic points in the body. And this is how powerful it is to begin to release. You literally begin to feel more energetic, more flow, more intuition. Trust more intuition. Listen to that guidance, channel information, all of these amazing gifts. Not even gifts, they're inherent aspects of our blueprint, of our design, that we begin to see underneath the surface layers of this programming. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Let us go into, let me see if we have any important questions regarding what I just spoke about. Okay, Mary Bond says, I learned how we can turn into energy, universal energy. However, our bodies can't handle it. I would die physically. However, I have the capability to do it. Wow. You know, you're absolutely correct. I mean, when we turn into energy, well, we are energy, right? At the very fundamental level, down to the cellular, molecular level, we are energy. So that's amazing. And really, you know, when we leave the body, that's what we do. We become energy. So maybe the physical dies. Yeah, that's amazing. Joe says, hey, Joe, it says, is it not good to question oneself every once in a while in order to put reality in perspective? Absolutely. Absolutely. All the time. Absolutely. And you know, there isn't obviously one truth. We need to look at all potential things. But the most important thing is to work with the information that you have, to question that and to check for yourself through experience what is true for you, because it can change for different people. And we are here like a rainbow, like a spectrum of colors, to add a piece to the puzzle. So definitely, that is very important. Very good. RR, your message got disconnected. Very good. Hey, Pono, how are you? So Joe Pesci says, as far as remote viewing goes, does that mean there are others that are studying our every moment in life, as well as tinkering with one's consciousness? And if so, how does one protect oneself? Yeah, there's always going to be those that are, you know, looking and exploring different things. But remember, we are one, okay? So that kind of, you know, when we start thinking in those terms, all the ideas of protection and fearful things begin to dissolve. You understand? And that ability of seeing things that way, most importantly for you and your body and what you're co-creating, because remember that you co-create with your thoughts. So if your thoughts are always in survival and protection, you're going to see that in the world. But if you see more as unity, you understand everything is cause and effect. Those people are living out their experience and doing what they're doing. And the more you become aware of your space, you will notice that nobody can come into your space without your permission. So, and you will be aware, you will know when someone's trying to tune into your space. As a psychic and connecting with other psychics, I can feel immediately when a psychic tries to tap into my space. And you can feel it. A lot of you do. There are some people that practice, you know, this kind of imbalanced energy techniques, these parasitic energy techniques to drain your life force by shaking your hand a certain way, by holding your hand a certain way, by touching you a certain way. They have kind of used black magician magic, not magician, black magic, or using these life force energies, you know, in the opposite manner, in a parasitic way, to drain life force from one another. So we, if we're aware of our multidimensional body, can catch that immediately and simply neutralize our energy so that they're no longer a match. Because the only time someone can latch on to your energy is if you're a match to that energy. So just remember that. Mobrek is sad. Hey, I just have to say you have perfect hands. Hey, thank you so much. Okay, so you finished that with so that one spirit is not compromised. So I think I answered that. You know, your spirit is never compromised without your permission. All right, my loves, let's go to Divine Love. Divine Love says hi. Joe Pesci says, would not opening one's energy field make one susceptible to other beings stealing and or controlling our energy? I think I just answered that one too. It's a matter of your resonance, right? So, and you know, with practice, and this is why I do this is why I do these challenges, because we need to train energetic hygiene. We need to learn how to create energetic boundaries through awareness. It's nothing but more than awareness. If you're aware of your multidimensional body, nothing can enter your space without your permission. Full stop. Full stop. Absolutely. If you believe that they can, they will. You know, they will come into your space. And I have lived through that. And I've lived through that in really, really challenging experiences with government doing parasitic things. You know, and really negative entities and beings. You know, I have lived through that. And so these practices absolutely ring true. Change your vibrational frequency and that stops. Okay? Yogini says, greetings from Miami. Nice. Hey, how are you? Venusian says, hi, Geraldine. Hey. Marcelo says, I'm always impressed with how much you know. Thanks so much, Marcelo. So great to see you here again. Merbeck says her knowledge is out of this world. She needs to write a book. I am writing that book in the process. We'll have it out soon, 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 soon. Venusian, great timing. I was having an intense anxiety last night, but logically it did not make sense for me to have it. There you go. We'll take a look at that. Man from Daytona, how are you? What do we do with violent humans? Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit. I mean, violent humans, right? So this is where, you know, this is why I kind of wanted to do today's exercise on these heavy emotions, right? Because when we see things like this that really trigger, you know, these people that are behaving in this way, when you do meditation practice, okay, and you look at all of these memories, these trigger points that I was talking about, your ability to broaden your perspective and look at why the cause and effect of all these beings that are participating in your experience, what happens is that you begin to see that they are a product of more conditioning, more programming, more suffering, more pain. Okay? So the question I like to ask when I see things like this is, do they have the tools to treat others in any other way? Do they have the tools? Do they know that they have the tools? And most of the time the answer is no, right? They don't know. Most of them have never felt love. Sometimes I see these troubled children, you know, acting out in ways, and just looking at them, you can see their energy. They're in constant survival mode, and there's so much pain that if you ask them a question in a certain way about their parent, they will start crying, because their suffering and their pain is so suppressed that they are living it every moment, and it's expressed through these actions. And macro, we're seeing this in the collective, and we see these in the playing out in these parasitic consciousness. The thing is that humans, our fellow brothers and sisters, do have a choice if they want to, but don't forget free will. The free will law means that any human can behave and experience whatever they want to. They came here, they are, through their experience, through the hypnosis in which they are in, until they wake up and something triggers an awakening for them, they're going to continue that path, but they have to choose that. And it's the same thing for the person receiving the suffering and the violence or the pain or all these horrible things on the other end. That person also isn't aware that they have free will. The person is matching that vibration. They also are living in their suffering. And that creates a match. Two people that believe they are helpless, the violent person and the person receiving the violence. And the violence that we do to one another happens very subtly. Sometimes the kind of violences that are happening in families are very subtle, very, they seem like not really violences, but they are. And they destroy one another. It's that counter-creation. So, when we talk about violence, there's a lot of violence going on in our world, in our own families, in our own self. The moment that we reject an emotion or reject a part of ourselves, that is a violence. So we just notice how we play out. And we always want to just look at ourselves and see how we're playing those things out in our life. Because this is the only thing we can control. And if we control and wake up, every one of us that is here in this chat room, imagine how we affect the collective moving forward, right? We really begin to change things from there. Thank you for that question. So Super Sport, hey, 2778. How does one disconnect from someone who has their frequency that does not match you, yet you have love for them, but they are placing an imbalance of frequency and energy? Okay, so I was going to talk about this topic today, but I'm going to talk about that topic tomorrow, Super Sport, because it's really important to understand our exchanges, okay? And this class today is the prequel to that next one, because what happens? A lot of times these heavy emotions that we experience as a result of these kinds of toxic relationships in which we don't have a balanced exchange, over time we're storing that into the body, and then it causes a lot of blockages. So what do? It's like I explained earlier, resonance, right? Why are you with this person? You are in resonance with them. There is a part of us that needs to be healed that is mirrored in this other person. And so what we want to try to do, even though we love them, right? First we need to understand what love really means, okay? Because until we understand what love is, and the only way you're going to do that is by teaching yourself what love is to yourself, you will be able to recognize in that person why they behave the way they do. What is the dynamic that is occurring between that? And once you understand that, your vibrational frequency changes. It's important to neutralize the energetic cords when we're trying to disconnect with people like this so that we can take back our life force. Because what ends up happening when we're unconscious in the hypnosis and in these relationships, that our life force becomes depleted with every interaction that we're having. And usually our interactions are robotic and artificial intelligent type, in which we're just responding mechanically as opposed to consciously co-creating. So that change has to happen. And when that shift happens, and you take back your life force and return what you took on from them, you create a neutral cord. This neutral cord will allow that person, oftentimes triggering a wake up for them, but acting on it if they choose. And you holding your space and maintaining your conscious awakening, and little by little and organically disconnecting into another place, another nucleus of individuals that are matching your vibrational frequency. So it's really important that we understand that we are the ones that are attracting these kinds of relationships. And if it keeps happening over and over again, definitely take a look at why that's happening. But I'm going to talk more about that. Okay? So Joe says, I get what you mean. That's what my brain was trying to explain to me. Awesome. Joe, so happy to hear that. Anita Zitnikova, how are you? Hi, Geraldine. Looking forward to this today. Yes, let's do it. All right, my love. So we have so many questions, and I want to answer them, but let's get started in our practice. Thank you so much, Joe. You're awesome. All right, my love. Ready to meditate. All right, my love. Let's get started. Let's begin. We're going to start by inhaling deeply. And we'll do a little timestamp so that anybody that wants to go directly to the practice can go directly to this one this time. All right, so now that we're grounded in our bodies, go ahead and close your eyes as you begin to connect with your body. Okay. And we're going to just jump right into it. We're going to ground down to the center of the earth. You're going to visualize your field around you. And I want you to tap into your energetic field. Go ahead and see a sphere made out of something that is completely impenetrable all around you, in front, behind, above, below. Okay. And I want you to go ahead and scan it, and we're going to use our intuition, our knowing, and our imagination to notice where we have holes, rips, tears in our field. So go ahead and tune into that. Where is it difficult to imagine this sphere around your body? Okay, so go ahead and notice some of you have it really wide open in the back, so go ahead and close that space in the right side, left side, front of the body, and the crown of the head, underneath the feet, closing all around. Okay, and you're going to notice that the body begins to calm down a little more. And I want you to notice if in those openings you have any cords that you see that are coming out in that space. Usually openings means that we have cords connecting to someone. That means that we're making imbalanced exchanges with someone because we're not aware. We're not aware that our energy is being either drained by there, or we are taking things on into our space that we don't need, that doesn't belong there. So go ahead and scan and make sure that you see that any cords in your multidimensional body that are there, you're going to gently, consciously pull them out. And if you sit and listen by connecting to those cords, you'll be able to see who they're connected to. You'll know. It's someone you've been interacting with in the past month, week, 24 hours. Okay? And it might even be people that you haven't necessarily thought of, but thought of you. Those are also cords that you're going to find in your energetic space. So sometimes our emotions become really triggered because we're pulling in either from the collective or from other people. So we're sleeping, we're in hypnosis. And when we do that, we have a tendency of pulling things that don't belong to us, okay? Because we're constant sponges of our environment. So notice that. Maybe these emotions that are triggered, of course, it's in resonance with your subconscious mind. But did you agree to that? Go ahead and pull it out of your body. Pull out what you see. And I want you to notice what it looks like as you pull it out. Notice that sometimes these cords are connected to different chakras, different organs in the body, different limbs, different layers. Go ahead and visualize disconnecting all that out. Very good. And as your sphere begins to heal, repair itself all around, you're going to notice that you feel more calm, more grounded even, more in your body. Very good. Okay, now that you're grounded and protected in your space, go ahead and visualize the root chakra at the base of the spine. You're going to close that chakra all the way down, shrink it down to the size of a dime. Front and back, it's a double-sided vortex connected to your spine at the root of your spine. You're going to visualize closing that, controlling that space. Disconnecting any imbalances or cords or attachments that are connected to this root. Because when you close it, it doesn't have this food source anymore. And you mindfully disconnect what doesn't belong in that root. Go ahead and go up to the sacral now. Closing that chakra, double-sided vortex, down to the size of a dime. Breathing deeply. Solar plexus, center of the abdomen, closing that chakra all the way down to the size of a dime. Disconnecting any imbalances in the solar plexus. And you'll immediately come into a state of complete relaxation because you've silenced the interference. Whatever is interfering your connection to source lives down here. You're going to go up to your heart. You're going to open. Green light front and back. So you're going to open it. Opening the center of unconditional love and connection. Going up to the throat. Open it. Front and back. You're going to go up to the third eye, open it, front and back. You're going to go up to your crown. Go ahead and see a blank screen in front of you, and you're going to see the color, the first color that comes up. Go ahead and put that color up into your crown. Aligning that color into every aspect of creation in your crown. Your career, change the frequency in the career. The relationships, fill that in. Intimate relationships, partnerships, fill that in. Health, fill that in. Abundance, money, creation, sexual energy, this creative life force, fill that in. The next is your spiritual work, your evolution as a soul in this human body, fill that in. And finally, your purpose. What are you here to do? Fill that in. Right now your crown is shining brilliantly with that color that you chose. You've illuminated, activated. This is the key to the activation of your DNA, to ascension. Go ahead and send that color up to the 8th. Breathing deeply. From the center of the earth, you're going to bring a powerful wave of green energy that comes rushing up into the body, creating a vortex of energy. Go ahead and pull that green life force energy up into the body, creating a vortex, giant vortex, cleaning and sweeping the debris from the 7 layers that extend around you. Just feel it massaging the energetic body, the energetic space, becoming more and more aware on all these dimensions as we begin to look there, as we begin to become aware of what's there. From the cosmos, you're going to bring down a white, let's do a golden light coming down from the cosmic. This cosmic energy comes down to the crown of the head, combining with that earth energy. Go ahead and send 10% of that energy back down to the center of the earth. Go ahead and take 80% of that energy, send it up your spine, out your crown, coating the outside of your sphere. Go back to your solar plexus, take that final 10% up your spine and fill the inside of your sphere. Go ahead and rotate and surround yourself with this cosmic and earth energy and let your body absorb that healing down to the cellular level. Breathing deeply. Okay. So now that you're here, you are running energy, you are activated. I want you to begin to tune in to these heavy emotions that have been triggered within the body over the past 7 days. If you need to go further back, you can take a look at the past month. Any heavy emotions that you have tuned into. Okay? Because your first 3 chakras are closed, you'll notice that you're not going to be feeling them as powerful as you would when they were open. And that's the beauty to clean healing. Okay? Why healing fails and why meditation fails is that we get lost in the overwhelm of emotions and stories that we have. Those experiences are temporary, and how we help the body move through them quickly by taking only the information that's necessary is by disconnecting and closing and controlling the emotional centers. So as you feel that emotion, you'll notice that what you're tuning into more so than just the emotion is the information. So go ahead and tune in to that emotion and notice as you observe yourself in that emotion, what does it make you feel when you feel this emotion, this heavy emotion? What does it make you feel? Name it out. Observing the emotions that have arisen now. Notice the emotions that have arisen. Where does that live in your body? Go ahead and connect. Where in the body are you storing these emotions? Notice that. Notice where the strongest of these emotions lives in the body. And what is it? Name it out. What is the strongest of all those emotions? Okay. Go ahead and tune into the part of the body that most is triggered by this emotion, wherever that is. It could be your leg, your hands, your back, your abdomen, your face. Whatever it is, tune into that part of the body. And I want you to be present with that emotion. And you're going to ask yourself, the way that you feel, is it true? Ask yourself, is it true? The information that this negative emotion gives us, the belief that this emotion creates for us about ourselves, is it true? Okay, and I want you to ask yourself, why do you think that you navigate to this belief so quickly? Is this a common belief in your life? Is this something that you've experienced many times before? How familiar are you with that belief as a result of this heavy emotion? This belief that you have of yourself that you have just discovered is one of the greatest blockages in your life. So what I want you to do now is I want you to call forth all of the fragments in your life since the womb until now that believe this belief that you've just discovered. See them in front of you in a crowd. As you see them in a crowd, all the parts of yourself that have believed this emotion, what this emotion tells us we are, what this emotion tells us we can and cannot do, what this emotion makes us fear. Notice in front of you what it is, all of the selves that have experienced those beliefs, manifested them. Look at all these parts of you. And you're going to begin to get some information about who played a role or participated in creating this belief about yourself. Just notice that. Parents, society, our own insecurities. Where did those insecurities come from? The beliefs. Siblings, other family members. And is that a common trend in this group of individuals that participated in co-creating this belief? You're looking at all of your fragments at once. Notice how we are perpetuating this cyclical pattern of disbelief in your family or in this nucleus of individuals that are participating in creating the belief. Notice how, let's say, your mother is living out that same belief all her life, or your father, or this person in front of you, this thing in front of you. How they embody that. So, what would someone need in order to believe different? What would they need from themselves in order to no longer believe this? Okay, go ahead and show them. Show all of your fragments, everything they need to know in order to change, transmute that belief system from where it's at to a higher level. Let's say feelings of unworthiness or helplessness. Okay. What would be the opposite of that? Empowerment, support, feeling safe, love, connection, so many different things. Notice that. And yet they all root in one thing, which is love. So go ahead and introduce to all of your fragments what they need. Give it to them. And as you do, I want you to carefully watch each one of those fragments from now until the womb. As you watch them absorb this information, you're going to see them transform. Okay? So I really want you to absorb. I want you to notice what shifts in them, how they change as a result of this. Because what you're looking at is your potential transformation. You're also learning how to behave in those events, those triggers that they've all experienced in your life now. If it was a moment where a parent was mean or did something, notice how they collect themselves, how they bring themselves back, ground themselves, how they focus on their energy. Okay. If it was an event that they were humiliated in front of people or something, notice how they stand tall, how that neutral center creates an empowerment in them. You are learning. These are your teachers, the teachers of love. It is within you, and it's through your fragments. And little by little, as you see them change, you're going to begin to feel that love in the center of your chest, or in the part of the body that was triggered the most. You're going to begin to feel it. So go ahead and surround yourself here in this space, in this healing, inside of your sphere, with that information, whatever it is to heal you. Go ahead and provide it to yourself. Go ahead and bring white source light down and allow yourself to absorb it in the body, down to the cellular level. As all the cells in the body begin to be introduced to this expansive awareness, they too begin to kind of find their balance. Now health is possible. Vitality, more energy. Your energy comes back into the body. Notice all of these incredible changes. You're going to see all of your fragments. They merged into one. All of your fragments. This is the proper way of integrating a heavy emotion. It's not just you. It's you and all of the fragments before you that have felt that emotion. This is how profound this healing can be. So I want you to take that part of you that is healed into your body now, inhaling deeply, integrating 7 bodies in, 7 bodies out, all charges down to 0, negative infinite, okay? Feeding it into the body. Notice how the body, the muscles begin to relax. Any kind of aches and pains are lessened. I have messages from so many people just this week that tell me the pain went away, I feel much better, this has changed. It's immediate. This is not something that is just imaginary or in the future. You are changing your life. So as you heal the body, you're going to sit in this feeling, in this emotion of healing, in this love for a moment, absorbing into every part of your body. As we ask every cell of the body to become reacquainted with this energy of love, of peace, of balance, of harmony. And as you sit still, the stiller you are in this emotion, the more your body will absorb it. Do not move. Breathing, inhaling that emotion into this organism. And you're going to expand all of this feeling of connection and well-being to your entire body, to your entire field, growing your light. Go ahead and see a powerful white light that comes down from source, a column of light that goes down through the crown of your head, down your spine, down in through all the internal organs and the spinal cord, down the perineum, anchoring it into the center of the earth. Notice how much wider this light is now. Go ahead and make it even wider. Widen that light. It now has room to grow within your body. If you maintain this vibrational frequency at all times, you cannot be unconscious. You cannot have illness. This is the secret to well-being. Okay, we have activated our abilities. So go ahead and come back into the room, open your eyes, and with your eyes open, you're going to open your root chakra back up. Okay, go ahead, open the root chakra, because remember we closed it, spinning it as fast as possible. Imagine that white light through the body clearing out any kind of things and debris that are in the root. Okay, with your eyes open. Second chakra, open it back up. Spinning it as fast as possible, clearing out. Solar plexus, open it back up. Heart, slightly closed, spinning it. Breathing. Throat, slightly closed, spinning it. Third eye, spinning it. Okay. We have another chakra in between the heart and the solar plexus. This is the center of unconditional love, of manifestation, grounding in the physical. Go ahead and open that little chakra. It's smaller than your other ones. Open it, spin it as fast as possible. Going up to the 7th, 8th, 9th, activating with your color. Breathing with your eyes open. Your 10th chakra activated. 11th, 12th, and 13th. And above you is a powerful white light of source. I want you to connect up into that source. And as you feel that powerful vibration, that energy, bring it down into your body, sealing your field. Okay? Anchoring it in your body. You are now this giant pillar of white light. So this is how you grow your light, simply by working with these heavy emotions. So I want to thank you so much for working with me today. You guys did an incredible job. And if anybody has any questions, please let me know. Put them down in the message. Organic Tomato says, hi from Garden Grove, Orange County, California, jumping in to meditate. All right, welcome. Organic Tomato, we're so happy to have you here. Watchers Talk, hey, how are you? So good to see you. You guys have to check out Watchers Talk. Amazing, amazing. Please subscribe to them. Organic Tomato says, sibling, of course, my older brother could have been cool to me, but chose to hurt. Yeah, I understand. I understand, my love. We are all dealing with the mirrors of ourselves, but this is collective pain, remember. And so we are placed in these families as lights to help transmute, to help heal, to help wake up. So thank you for your light. Thank you for the work that you're doing in this family. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. Hey everyone, give a like. Algorithms will get her out to more people. Oh, thank you so much, Organic Tomato. That's so sweet. So sweet of you. I appreciate that. Mary Bond says, thank you. Thank you, my love. Joe Pesci says, if my color was pinkish purple, what does it mean? Such a great color, Joe. Such a great color. Pink is usually the vibrational frequency of unconditional love. Purple is the vibrational frequency of intuition. So what it's telling us, this is what Joe needs right now in his journey, in this time in his life. He needs unconditional self-love, radical self-acceptance, and to trust that intuition, to exercise the intuition. Each one of these colors is filled with information about where we're at and what we need. And the more you learn your body, the more you know what is needed. So, embody that. You will definitely be able to move quicker. Keep that color up at all times. You're changing your frequency from karma to creator. And intentional creator means that you are doing everything in your life is in alignment with healing this, living unconditional love, living intuition. So that's how powerful those colors are. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. You know what? I actually had an important question. Somebody was trying to tell me that they were asking about closing and opening the chakras. I just remembered. Really important. I did 2 other videos, long, heavy videos on the root and sacral chakra and solar plexus, on closing and opening them. When we're in meditation, and this goes in connection with somebody else's question earlier. When we close the chakras, many things are happening, but we're disconnecting from all of those tentacles that are connecting us to the sensory unconscious body. And when we do that, we're resetting. It's like resetting a router of the information that we're throwing back and forth. What this also does at the same time is that our life force that runs through the body, instead of it being like this in the root survival mechanism, it begins to look like this. So we begin to change the energy that we're channeling through our body to create ourselves. We activate the heart, the throat, the third eye, intuition, unconditional love, communication, balance, and intuition. And so when we do this, we begin to broaden our light. And a lot of times, because we are empathic and we haven't learned how to own our space, a lot of beings and, all these things begin to open up to us. We begin to see them. So what's going to happen is that if you don't know how to control your emotions when you see something unknown, you can bring it into your space, or you can, invite it in, and it might not be the best thing for you at that time. Okay? So it's really important that when you're doing this, when you're getting up for meditation, to rebalance your chakras, always. So never leave your meditation with your first closed and your top open. I have had clients that, they were in an office, they did a meditation outdoors. Never do it outdoors also until you've practiced enough. And he's in his lunch break meditating, and he's sitting in this empty, middle of Walnut Creek, really nice neighborhood area. And he didn't close his first he didn't open them back up. And next thing I know, I'm getting a call from him telling me, "Oh my God, Geraldine, the weirdest thing happened. This lady with this ancient wardrobe clothing started walking down the street, talked to me, and asked me a question about something I was dealing with. And then she walked away. And when I looked up, she completely disappeared." Right? So he basically tapped in to a being, perhaps an entity or disembodied soul that manifested and connected. And he was able to see that because he's incredibly intuitive. But because he didn't open his chakras back up, he was constantly tuning in to the things that were happening without being aware of his body. And so that's where we start having these interactions with things, right? Too much activity. So it's really important to be mindful. We want to be like this all day. The chakras, GPAC, grounding, protecting, aligning, co-creating. Okay? So always close your chakras in meditation. You will have the most powerful meditations. But always be aware and mindful of your space. And when you leave, open them back up. Okay? All right, my love. So I want to thank you so much for joining me again. And let me see my color. Maverick Assad says, "Blessings, thank you," was like showering with lightning. Wow, incredible. I'm so happy to hear that. Super Sports said, "Thank you, you're welcome." Venusia, powerful, thank you. Thank you. When I close my eyes, I always look purple. Awesome. So purple indigo colors are the colors of the higher self. So that means that we're tuning in to our higher self, which is here. It is here. So definitely keep going. Definitely keep training. Catherine says, "What time do you begin? I'm trying to promote." Thank you so much, Catherine. At this point, I'm doing them around 9, in between 8, 9, and 10, the latest. And I'm sorry, but usually that'll be where I do it. Sometimes I will do it earlier. Unfortunately, I don't have a set time just because my schedule is super heavy. So I try to do it at the end of the day when everything is more calm. Okay? But that would be a good time for you to share. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Joe, wow. Cool. Thank you. Calum Ariel says, "Thank you, Geraldine. I feel as if my voltage is amplified." Yes, that's what I want you to feel. Anita Zendikova, very strong healing meditation. Huge gratitude. Nice. My loves, thank you for being here. I love you. Have a great night. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.